Here we go. Thanks for joining us today. We're with Coach James Hoteling out of New York. And hey, I'm so grateful to be with James because he personally coached me towards the beginning of my career. And James is one of the best coaches in the nation. So welcome, James Hoteling.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it, Paul. Good to get to talk to you again. You know, we get to talk a few times, obviously, throughout the year, but this is fun. I appreciate you reaching out to me.
Yeah, well, I wanted to highlight you and your coaching platform because I definitely respect who you are as a human being and how you bring such a big heart to connecting with agents and an experience with just how long you've been coaching. Yeah. Rewind us back on when you first got started and what that looked like as far as launching a coaching business.
Sure. You know, it's been it's been over 22 years, believe it or not. I mean, it was 97 when I started, when I had my first coaching call. Man, those were some crazy times, you know, getting into it that way. But you know, I had been mentored, if you will, by Mike Ferry for a number of years, you know, in the business, and then just kind of had that crazy idea with a friend of mine of saying, hey, why don't we go out and do this? You know, why don't we go set up events and go speak and sell coaching and
why do that?
Actually worked.
Unbelievable, it worked. Why do that versus take what you'd had learned and utilize that for yourself? I mean, what led you into moving into that direction?
Well, you know, it was interesting because when I was selling real estate, I was fortunate to do pretty well my first several years. And what happened was you get lots of opportunities to come and tell everybody what you're doing, right? Come to the board meeting, come to the office meeting, come to the regional meeting, and you know, tell everybody what you're doing that's allowing you to have some success. And what I realized was I actually liked that better than I did the just in the trenches selling, you know, with the opportunity to train or motivate or share ideas and help other people accomplish their goals. So it just it all came together, right, with that realization. And it was fun. It was fun to have that platform and to be up maybe on a stage or in front of a group and just kind of leading them along in a format that they could follow and realize, wow, I'm like a conduit now. You know, I've taken this stuff, I've practiced it, I put it into use, and now I get to pass it on. And it was fun. It was a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun. And
well, 22 years. I mean, you don't go that long without having true skill set and leadership and being able to lead agents to success. So what do you think's differentiated you as far as your coaching and like helping people break through?
I think, you know, you hit on it a few minutes ago and you said, you know, having a heart to care. I mean, I think that's where it starts. I mean, I've watched a lot of people getting into the coaching business or being coaches, if you will, in selling and real estate and other things over the years. And one of the things I've just seen a lot is where somebody will sell an agent, if you will, on a coaching program, and then it's like they're not showing up for their calls. They're not really investing in that client. And that's one thing that I've always felt like is I want to partner with them. You know, I just enjoy working with them and helping them and seeing them take something that we talk about and then actually go do it. And maybe they get massive results, maybe they have some challenges, but they come back and they say, hey, here's what happened. And then we get to tweak it. So I guess bottom line is I really enjoy what I do. I love just being able to pour that into people. So I would imagine that's probably been a big part of it, is people sense that, you know, that genuine concern I have for them.
Yeah, well, look, that commitment level, right? Because energy is real and energy is contagious. I certainly got that when you were coaching me early in my career was the sincerity. I did a video the other day on authenticity, right? I'm a pretty straightforward guy. We're both from upstate New York originally, and maybe that was a little bit of the bonding, but certainly from a professional aspect on the authenticity that you bring to the table for really wanting to get to know an agent and then making curtailments or adjustments based on that agent.
Yeah.
What else should agents who are looking for coaches or looking for training, I mean, what should they be looking for in a coach?
I guess it's somebody that they sense really wants them to succeed. Somebody that wants to see them do well, not just sees them as a paycheck.
Yeah.
You know, I think the coaching industry and a lot of other industries that have come on the scene over the last 10, 15, 20 years have really come after the real estate industry because there's so much money there, right? There's commission dollars.
That's it. Let me jump in on that, because you came up when coaching was relatively a small industry, and now the last 5-7 years it's blown up as far as the difference what was happening then to now. I mean, obviously technology and the internet and Facebook, but I mean, differentiating the quality of a good coach from then to now.
Right. And that's, again, you didn't have all of that stuff. I mean, basically, if you wanted to go get clients, you had to physically go out and do an event, and you had to stand in front of them as a living person and present and compel them, if you will, through your presentation and all of that to say, yeah, I want to invest some money in what this person has to say.
Versus an edited video clip where everything looks shiny and beautiful and nice. You had to go earn it the old-fashioned way, like a lot of agents have to do when they go on listing presentations.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
that's right. And
I think that's why I respect you. That's why I respect you.
Well, hey, I appreciate that. But the truth is, it was a totally different thing. And you're right. There were probably 5 or 6 big players at the time. Of course, Mike Ferry. You had Joe Stump. You had Howard Britton. You had Daniel Kennedy that was out there doing stuff.
The guy from Michigan. I always forget his name. The guy from Michigan. Paul Slender guy.
Yeah, geez, now that you say that, who is that?
Oh, man, I'm so sorry. If I say his name, you're going to know it.
I know.
Floyd Wickman. Floyd Wickman.
Oh, well, Floyd. Oh, of course, Floyd.
Floyd Wickman. Right. Sweat Hogs. Right.
Big, huge. I mean, and so in a sense, you had those guys that had paved the way in a lot of ways, but it was, it was different ball game. I think totally different ball game. And today, because of, like you said, social media, because of the availability to have a platform, anybody and everybody has a platform now with social media, YouTube, and all of that, right? Yeah. And it allows, people to come into the game, and it doesn't mean that they aren't necessarily a good coach, but there's so many choices now. I think that's part of what's happened with coaching. I was talking about this today with somebody that I think it's just confused a lot of agents.
It's a lot of noise. Yeah.
When you have 6 or 8 choices, right? You can do your due diligence, you can get your mind wrapped around that, and you can make what you feel is a good choice. When you have 106 choices, it's kind of like, what do I even do here? And every one of them is coming at you. And, it's tough for agents, I think, to really get their mind around that.
Yeah, so that's a good segue over to I know you coach a lot of newer agents. I know you coach agents who've been in the business for a long time. Figuring out what to focus on, the biggest challenge is when somebody comes to you and they say, look, I want to fast track my business. I want to take my business to the next level. Is there one focal point, or how do we with all that noise and with all those distractions, like how do you zero in on helping people make that breakthrough?
Yeah, that's a great question. And it's tough sometimes, but I think I've always tried to keep it simple. So I basically will say to them, hey, tell me what you want. What do you want your business to look like? If we could snap our fingers and you could change anything about your business, what would it be? Would it be the number of hours you work, the percentage of listings you have, the price point that you're in, what is it? And once they can kind of clarify what they need help with, what they want to change the most, then we can say, okay, now let's create a plan to make that happen. And here's what it's going to have to look like. Here's what you have to change, because nothing changes until you do, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of times it's changing up here. It's changing the thinking.
How much of it is mindset versus strategy or skill?
I think the strategy and skill gets the ball rolling. Mindset keeps it going.
Right.
It's easy to be the flash in the pan, the one-hit wonder, right? You can show up on any given day and have the most incredible day and say everything right and set appointments, and all this stuff will happen. But then the question is, can you come back and repeat it tomorrow and the next day and the next day and the next month and the next year? So that's where the mindset kicks in, is that ability to just keep doing, we've heard it before, right? The repetitious boredom. That's the hardest part, I think.
Well, I think there's a big mindset when people are looking at being coached or getting training. With when I first came up, YouTube was just barely launching, and so I didn't have the benefits at my fingertips to be able to search a topic on training or coaching, and people can do that. And yet I know that now, having been a coach for a while, is that nothing. This business is based on relationships, and so then the relationship that I have with somebody who's further down the road or has the 30,000 foot view on perspective is inevitably what helped me go from 14 to 36 to 52 to 129 because that second set of eyes or ears we could bounce conversation off of.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that was a big part of knowing that when I first got in the business, my first coach was Mike, right?
Yeah.
And that $1,000 a month was my wife, she flipped out for a second, but
I bet.
That was an investment, right? And the conversations you're having with people on making that investment, like what does that look like?
Yeah. Well, I think that's just it. It's you have to make a decision that your goals are important and that you have an inherent belief that you can get there, but you aren't going to get there by yourself. I think that's the first thing you have to accept is that when you involve other people, that you increase your chances of success because like you just said, you get to play off of their knowledge, their perspective, things that they see that you don't because you're too close to it. Yeah. And so once you've come to that, that acceptance, right? Then you can say, okay, now if I look at it on paper and I say, okay, I'm going to spend X amount of dollars for the next year on coaching, but it's going to help me to grow my business by 15, 20, 30% or whatever, and that's going to be this much money, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Give me, I'm sure you've had like some success stories as far as people have come to you and whether it was incremental or immediate or something over the course of a year or two, as far as people coming to you and going, James, I need your help. And then bam, the success happened right here, or it happened over a longer period of time. Like give me a couple of success stories on that.
Yeah. Well, I have to say one of my favorite success stories really is Jeff Glover. I had the privilege of coaching him for 3 years when he first got into real estate full time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So Jeff Glover up in Michigan, give a quick background on Jeff.
Yeah, Jeff's just a great guy. He's such a hard worker. He's genuine, very sincere at what he does and how he wants to help agents and help people. And so he was part-time sales, part-time trainer for his company. It was a different company at the time. He was with Coldwell Banker.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and then he decided, hey, I'm going into real estate full time. He had signed up for coaching, and I got to work with him right out of the gate. And so that first year, I think he had done 37, 40, somewhere in there deals his previous year, right?
Okay.
So we set a goal for 100. We said, hey, if I'm going to get in this full time, I should be going for 100. And lo and behold, he hit 100. And then the next year we said, hey, let's double. Let's get to 200. And bang, he did it. He got to 200 deals. Mm-hmm. And then the next year it was kind of the same thing, right? And that was when I actually left. I left Mike Fair in 2010. And that year he went on to do, 280 deals or something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Along the way, it was the growth, right? The team and now he's a legend. What I mean? As far as KW and just the size of the organization.
And, I got to give him props.
Exactly. Yeah. And but there's been a lot of there's a gal here in upstate New York, as a matter of fact, that she was on an agent on a team. These 5 women collaborated together to form a team, and she was doing decent business on her own. I don't know, probably 40, 50 transactions. I think she had maybe a part-time assistant at the time that she kind of brought to this collaborative effort. And after I kind of worked with the whole group of them, but after about a year or so, the team just kind of fell apart. She was out producing most of them. So she decided to split away and go on her own and started to grow and increase her team. And just year after year after year, it was bigger and bigger and bigger. And finally, she left a big franchise and opened her own company. And in her first year, she was like the number 19 brokerage in the entire marketplace.
Wow.
In her first year as an independent broker. So
that's amazing. Where in upstate?
She's in Albany, Capital
Oh,
District.
okay, gotcha.
Yeah, Gabler Realty, Judy Gabler. She's a great agent. She'd be a great interview for you.
Yeah. What last name again?
Gabler, Gabler.
Gabler.
Sorry, if you caught me at the end of the day, my throat is like
no worries.
Dry, but yeah. And there's been a lot of that type of thing, I guess, over the years. And one of the things I've I've liked is that I still to this day have a lot of clients in my schedule that I've coached for 6, 8, 10 years. And it's just fun to watch them over that long period of time, how they how they change mentally, how their business grows.
You've had clients for 10 years?
Yeah, quite a few of them actually.
Wow.
That stuck with me, so to speak, for that long. And Colton Lindsay, he's another great example. He's a great guy. I've coached him for about 7 years now. And,
you still coach Colton?
I do, yeah. Him and his team.
I ran into him at a Tony Robbins event in July here in Houston, Dallas.
Yeah.
And we kind of recognized each other, and we talked for a little bit. Now I remember you did. I remember you saying you had coached him. I wasn't aware you were still coaching him.
Yeah. He's kept me hanging on, man. And and I work with his team a lot, and that's been a lot of fun.
Well, he's been a guy who's come up from relatively humble beginnings, and then has had it explode.
Yeah. Another great example of just again work ethic, great vision, and again cares about people, cares to help others succeed. I think that's really the common theme. Yeah. When you look at who said that, I can't remember now exactly who said it. But that might have been, was it? I was going to say Floyd Wickman, but I don't think it was Floyd. That said, or Zig Ziglar maybe.
Uncaring or what?
About how you can succeed, or what is it? When
helping up.
You can have anything you want when you help other people get what they want.
So Ziglar was when you help other people get what they want, you'll get everything in life that you'll want.
Exactly. And I think that's so true. I've watched that. I've been a little bit of a beneficiary of that myself, and I think that's key, And so for an agent, if you take that on as sort of a mantra, and you just look at your market and say, how can I help other people get what they want? How do I help them get their home sold? How do I help them buy the home? How do I build a team and create opportunities for other agents that I bring into the fold? If that's your pursuit, if it's other centric, you're almost guaranteed.
You know what? I'm so glad that came up in the conversation. So I'm having a consultation with one of the top producers in the office, and 4th year in the business. She's going to do 10 million plus. And then she's creating a partnership where her team's going to literally double in size in 1 year. And she goes, you know what, Paul? I never focused on the commission splits. I never focused on the commission dollars. I've been extremely intentional on service and connecting with people, knowing that if I did that at such a high level, right, that's rooted in this concept and this idea that we're talking about already. But
100%.
When that's there and you're focused there, then that's when the magic happens. But it's hard to stay there, especially when you're broke.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, then you tend to develop commission breath. But
right. I love that saying, but I've kept that for years, man. That goes way back, right? Commission breath. But it's hard. That's hard to do when you got 1 month of bills in the bank, and because I was a month and a half bills in the bank, and I had to beat street boy to make listings happen, because I knew that if this didn't happen, this wasn't happening. Right?
Yeah, exactly. And I think there again, that's a very common thread with a lot of these people that you look at now and you say, oh my gosh, look at what they've achieved, look at what they've accomplished. But you trace that back far enough, and in so many cases, there was that moment or that season in their life where they were at that place. And some people choose to become a victim, and they choose to blame, and they choose to wallow in that condition. But others use it as a springboard, and I think that's a mark of success.
Okay, I'm going to go off on a tangent just for a second. What differentiates that? I mean, I've seen people where, same upbringing, same scenario, and then one goes this way in the right direction to be productive and contributing at a high level, and then the others, the victim mentality or the depreciating mindset. I mean, and coaching for so long, you got any thoughts around that?
I really don't. I think it's some kind of a personality something just clicks in there.
Yeah.
And they go in one direction or the other, because you're right. I mean, you look at all the ingredients that go into that person's life, and they're all virtually the same. But yet, when it comes out of the oven, they don't look the same. It's like, I don't know, man, something just weird happened there. But
well, as a good coach, part of our job, right, is being able to explore those conversations to find out, to make those connections or explore those possibilities, and then help people. Maps helped me a little bit with this. Was I'm teaching people how to think sometimes.
Yes.
Right. And good agents are doing that with buyers and sellers, right? They're helping them think bigger or think differently.
Think differently, yeah, because it is possible to shift that thinking. But inherently that person has to want it. They have to desire to choose that direction. You can't force it, right? And that's part of the key, is to get into that headspace with them and just say, look, is this really the path you want? And if not, here's what you can do to change it. Others have been where you are. This is what they've done. Learn from that.
That's good.
But
that's good.
Yeah.
How about we're wrapping up here on advice for newer agents on fast tracking their business and getting things going.
I gotta say, man, advice for new agents is just don't overcomplicate the business. Just stick with the essentials of, it's a people business. It's a relationship business. You must talk to people in high volume.
Yeah.
And you also have to understand, you're not going to get them all. Nobody does.
You're not going to get most of them.
I think that's probably a better way to say it. You're going to get a very few of them. You got to be okay with that. You got to be okay.
Yeah.
We talked about Colton, for example, there a few minutes ago. And I can remember back in, I want to say it was October of 14, we were looking at his numbers, and his goal that year was 50 deals. And in late October, right about this time of the year, we were looking at his numbers, and we realized that he had 42 closed and pended that year so far, and he had almost to the number 4,200 conversations so far that year. So we're like, whoa, man, check it out. It's 1 out of 100, right? So we're like, okay, you've gotten paid once for every 100 people you've spoken to this year.
Yeah.
And he finished out the year. He was right around 49, 50 deals, right around 5,000 contacts. And so I would say to agents, like the following year, I kind of used that as an example for a lot of agents. Sure. And I said, do you think at the end of the year, he was more focused on the 4,950 people that he didn't get anywhere with? Or was he focused on the 50 sales, the $250,000 in income that he earned that year? Which do you think he was spending more time thinking about, right?
Right.
And so I think for new agents, you have to put it in perspective. You have to understand the game that you're in, and it's a numbers game. And as long as you're willing to play the game, skills can be learned, systems can be developed and copied, frankly, from other people and implemented. But up here, you got to keep it simple, and you got to be willing to play the game.
How about for a final thought on an agent who's been in the business for a while and they want to break through, but something's been holding them back on getting outside consultation or coaching, like being able to break through that mindset to be able to connect with that right person, that right coach, or what their mindset needs to be to go to that next level as somebody who's been in the business 3, 4, 5+ years.
Yeah, well, I think at that point you have to say, okay, I've proven that I can succeed at this. I can get to a certain level. But I think as soon as they expand their vision and they start looking at other successful people, not even in real estate, just in life, and they look at the level of collaboration that most of those successful people have, with other like-minded people, with mentors, and you and I, you'll understand this, the Dead Sea analogy versus the Sea of Galilee. And the idea that with the Dead Sea, everything gets poured into it, but there's no outlet.
Right.
And everything dies and stagnates. Whereas the Sea of Galilee, it's got an inflow and an outflow. And I think for that person to realize that now that you've been in it for a few years, there's opportunities to give back. There's opportunities to share what you've learned. And the more you share, the more you want to learn. So that I found that for a lot of agents, that as soon as they stop trying to hold it all to themselves and share, now all of a sudden they realize, hey, this is kind of fun. I want to go get more so I can pass it on. So that opens the door for coaching and collaboration.
Yeah, it's funny how the universe works that way. And And that's God, the universe, whatever people want to call it, that the law of reciprocity and that energy works that way. That's Tony Robbins says you got to get out of your head or you're dead.
Yeah, very much so.
You know, I mean,
very much so.
Got to make that connection. Yeah.
And that's the other thing with today, you know, talking about YouTube and social media. I mean, there is so much stored up knowledge, right? But until you choose to act on it and you take that piece that's applicable to you, for where you are in your journey right now, and you apply it, the power isn't realized until you take action.
Yep, that's it, man.
So a coach might be right there, but until you invest and take it and implement it, you don't realize the power of it.
Yeah, and that we don't walk this journey alone. You know, at some point
we can't.
Cannot.
Yeah.
So best way for people to find you, to contact you, to check you out. What's the best way to do that online?
CoachJamesHoteling.com, my website. You can find me on Facebook, my business page, you know, Facebook/James Hoteling. Those are probably the two easiest ways, quite frankly.
Awesome.
Just to find out more, ask questions. I love helping people. So if you just want to reach out and say, hey, I need some help in this area, you know, I'm not going to try to hard sell you on coaching. I'll give you what I got, and hopefully you like it. And you say, hey, you know, maybe I want to come back for a little bit more.
Yeah, I love that. Well, that's why I've maintained the friendship with you, because authenticity wise, genuineness, how you come from contribution, you know, you're the real deal, man. And I appreciate you, and I'm grateful to know you and to have been coached by you. So
thank you, man. And trust me, I mean, I hope your people know, but they are in very good hands with you, man, because you're the same way. You know, I know that about you, that you care, you got great energy. So great job with what you're building down there.
Awesome. Thanks so much. You guys check James Hoteling out, and stay tuned. Talk to you soon.
All right. Thanks, Paul.
All right.